we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't see our Reverend, and so I'd ask Councilman Boone if he would lead us.
Always prepared.
Sure, thank you, sir. Please rise and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you so much for this town. We thank you for all the blessings you've given this town, Lord. We thank you for its beauty. Please be with this council, Lord, as we go over the agenda items tonight. Do everything in your will, Lord. Again, thank you for all the many blessings you've blessed this town with. Lead, guide, direct us in all that we do. In His name, in His precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I want to thank everybody for being here. And I want to start by letting everybody know, if you weren't here, I mentioned this in the work session, but I'll mention it again now. Items 8, 9, and 12 have been pulled from the agenda and will not be discussed and or voted on at tonight's meeting. So with that being said, I will move to agenda item number 1, which is to approve the minutes of the May 29th, 2019 regular city council meeting and the May 29th work session. Anybody got any comments or changes on that?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Got a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, motion carries. Number 2, we have the report of the mayor.
Good evening. With 8 and 9 having been pulled, we have a real short mayor's report tonight. The Glow in the Park series starts Thursday night, the 13th, at Fairhope Park, and the movie is going to be Mary Poppins Returns. The movie begins at 8 p.m. Please make sure you bring your chairs. And in honor of Men's Health Month, the James P. Nix Center is partnering with Thomas Hospital to bring the newest in innovation in cancer screening. On June 12th, starting at 10 a.m., the ICC screening bus will be here conducting a free PSA screening and handing out free colorectal home screening kits. Dr. John Russell, radiation oncologist, will also be here to discuss the latest treatment options for prostate cancer. And that is the mayor's report.
Thank you very much.
You get to the Nix Center on the 12th.
Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it. All right. Well, then I will open the floor up for public participation, and this is for agenda items. So if you have something, public participation for agenda items 5 through 16, now is your chance to speak. All right. Seeing no comment, I will close public participation and go straight into council comments. Councilman Conyers.
I don't have any comment. Today, but I did want to ask. I see we got a few members from the Fairhope Junior City Council out in the audience, and I didn't know if y'all wanted to get up and speak about your item on number 13, or if you're content to just hang out. All right. All right. Well, we're glad y'all are here. Either way, appreciate y'all serving. And another thing, Auburn's going to the College World Series, so War Eagle.
Might have put a damper on the meeting, Jimmy. Thanks for that. Councilman Brown?
No comment.
Councilman Boone?
No comment.
All right, I've got no comment either, so we'll keep moving. All right, number 5 is final adoption for request to zone the property of the Teachers Retirement Systems of Alabama to tourist resort concurrent with annexation into the city of Fairhope. Buford, this was introduced at the last council meeting, and if you'll take it from here.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson, council members and clerk. Thank you for having me here. And of course, introduced at the last council meeting. And of course, this is a conditional annexation to a tourist resort district. And what we'll do, council members, I'll go through the details very quickly to reserve more time for questions. I do have some follow-up information for some questions that were asked last time. And just to reiterate, you see on the slide on your screens right now, the subject property outlined in blue, and just over 99 acres owned by the Teachers Retirement Systems of Alabama. We have the aerial view here with the same property, but this is the aerial view outlined in a crosshatch. And you see the PPINs of the various properties that make it up identified there. So falling back for just a moment, the Colony at the Grand is the existing development that contains 5 phases. So I wanted to show that entire development for context purposes. The piece of property we're considering tonight is due north of there. This is the subject property. You'll notice we've called out its relation to Twin Beach Road and Section Street. You'll notice in the lower right-hand corner there is a match line, and in this drawing you see in the upper right-hand corner the match line of the property under consideration as it relates to the existing Colony at the Grand property. This slide, we have the various statistics that we've already talked about. Now, Mr. Tim Lawley with HMR/GMC is with us tonight, if there's any questions for the engineer of record. We mentioned last time, I'll just reiterate very briefly, the Planning Commission asked that the applicant conduct a community meeting voluntarily for this. That was conducted at the dates that you see on the screen right there. We'll move on. What I'd like to do here, council members, is just, we went through it in detail last time, but one of the questions is that what is the the allowable build-to height for this zoning district? And you'll notice I have in bold print right there, not to exceed 35 feet. The 2 columns you see at the top basically are showing the current development versus the proposed development, and you'll see the low-rise district, which is a component of a tourist resort district. You'll see it will grow by that approximately 99 acres. So the current density of the existing site is 3.5 units per acre. The added acreage actually has a net reduction of density to 3 units per acre, and as you'll see there, that will give you 861 units on 286.8 acres. Council members, a question last time was about sanitary sewer infrastructure, and Mr. Peterson helped me prepare the slide right here. What I'd like to direct to the council and the public's attention is I want to call out the existing lift station. You'll see identified there is LS2-1 on Twin Beach Road. So you have the existing station. You'll notice its proximity to the Twin Beach AME Zion Church. And what we wanted to comment is that existing lift station, there have been some recent complaints about some odors from that lift station. Mr. Peterson reports, and we'll note here, that there was some servicing that had to be done on that station, that it does have a chemical odor control system, and that was serviced. I also wanted to point out here, council members, that if you'll notice in the aerial photo on the right, a large red dot, and it's a new lift station and side stream storage facility proposed. Mr. Peterson is designing that right now. You would have actually a new lift station in addition to a side stream storage facility under development right now. The side stream storage would hold approximately 150,000 gallons and also include some pretreatment systems to that side stream storage certainly to help with odor reduction. So that would give the opportunity to capture wastewater and pre-treat it. So that is under design at this time for a future project. As far as the existing site for Colony at the Grand, 2 items to point out here. And you'll notice in the aerial image in the lower right, and you'll see the balloon pointing toward the existing lift station number 65, the Battles Road lift station. Phases 1 through 5 of Battles Trace serve that lift station. In addition, there is a phase 6 of Colony at the Grand that will eventually be upon the property that we're considering here tonight. Now, to service that in future phases, there is a lift station under construction right now. You'll notice the drawing on the right, and I apologize if it's a bit difficult to see. The balloon there shows the location of that lift station. If you notice, the faint green outline shows a force main exiting that lift station that runs around the new stormwater retention pond, which looks like kind of like a lake on the golf course. It runs around the south end of that storage facility and connects to a force main on Section Street. The point here is that, and if I'll flip back to the previous slide, the Colony at the Grand does not provide wastewater, does not utilize that existing lift station on Twin Beach Road to process that wastewater. It processes the wastewater in the area it serves right now. So the existing phases 1 through 5 use the lift station here. The lift station under construction will catch Phase 6 in future phases. And then, of course, we mentioned the possible additional lift station in the future with side stream storage. So we wanted to clarify that because there were a few questions last time about sewer infrastructure. And so the staff recommendation, council members, wanted to reiterate again that the Phase 6 of Colony at the Grand, that subdivision on top of the property we're considering tonight has been approved by the Planning Commission. They included a condition of approval that sidewalks would be built along Section Street where the subject property fronts upon Section Street. Also, the Planning Commission, you'll notice the dates there where the Planning Commission approved this rezoning, conditional annexation to rezoning that we're considering tonight. And they put a condition of approval, development shall be limited to single-family residential uses within the low-rise residential district. There are other uses available in the LR district. This limits it to single-family. So as a result, the staff recommendation is approval. Staff recommends approval of case number ZC 19.04, conditional annexation to Resort District of Colony at the Grand, inclusive of the Planning Commission's conditions of approval. And as I said, council members, Mr. Lawley is here with us tonight on behalf of the developer, and I'm happy to answer questions on behalf of staff.
Thank you very much. Council, do you guys have any comments or questions for Buford or the developer? All right.
I appreciate the detailed description of what's going on with the sewer in that area.
Yes, sir, council. We're happy to do that, and as you'll see in future cases, the first hearing of a zoning change case like this, we're always, since it's customary to allow them to lay over, that's a great opportunity for us to address issues and bring it back. So we're happy to do that for this and future cases.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, well, there being no further questions or comments, Clerk, do you call the vote?
Need a motion in a second.
I'll entertain a motion in a second.
I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Now you call it.
Place 2,
Aye.
place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Moving on, number 6, another ordinance that was introduced at our last meeting. You know, if you want to, if you guys got any additional comments or questions for our planning department, you can go ahead and ask them. If not, I'll entertain a motion to vote.
I make a motion, we approve as presented.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second.
Place 2,
Aye.
place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Item number 7 is another ordinance that was introduced at our last meeting. And again, I'd ask you guys if you have any questions or comments for our planning department. Here's your opportunity. Seemed pretty straightforward at our last meeting. You did a great job explaining it then. I don't have any comments or questions.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment to zoning ordinance 1253.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second.
Place 2,
Aye.
place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5.
Aye.
And the motion carries. All right, items 8 and 9 have been pulled. Number 10, which is the resolution that Mayor Karen Wilson is hereby authorized to execute the agreements between the City of Fairhope and the State of Alabama, acting by and through the Alabama Department of Transportation for the maintenance and operation costs for the traffic signals on the Greeno Road corridor, with the state billing the city for the cost. And the intersections listed here are US 98 SR 42 at Twin Beach Road, CR 44, US 98 SR 42 at Middle Street / Spring Run Drive, US 98 SR 42 at Nichols Avenue, US 98 SR 42 at Morphy Avenue, County Road 46, US 98 SR 42 at Fairhope Avenue, County Road 48, US 98 SR 42 at Gayfer Avenue, County Road 30, US 98 SR 42 at Parker Road, and US 98 SR 42 at Rock Creek Parkway. I think this would normally be a question for Richard. We've got a stand-in if you guys have any questions about this. Anything in particular, anything that stands out of this that's unusual or that needs to be brought to our attention?
No, sir, like I said earlier in the work session, the first item on the list, US 98 and County Road 32, be
Mhm.
omitted from the final resolution, but the other ones are the ones we agreed with the
Okay.
county.
All right, perfect. All right. Council, any comments? All right, if there are no comments, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 11 is that the City of Fairhope hereby approves and amends the franchise agreement for granting franchises to install, maintain, and operate a business on the city's public rights-of-way or public property as presented, and a copy is on file in the office of the city clerk, and that resolution number 2909-17 is hereby repealed. Do I got any questions for that for Lynn? Lynn, this is something we've discussed previously.
Yes, we had discussed very briefly. It was a matter of clarifying what constitutes or what's eligible for a franchise agreement and what business is conducted out of city-owned property that is being leased. And that's all we're clarifying on that one. It also clarifies the point that if you have a business that is moving, whether it's a exercise class, jogging, or vehicle or whatever, that is not franchisable. It's on the city streets, that's allowable. But the minute you stop and you are using city property, then it becomes you're using city property, and it's a whole nother issue. So we're just clarifying those points in
Okay.
this amendment.
Council, has anybody got any questions or discussion? If there is not, then I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Number 12 has been pulled at the request of the developer. Number 13 is a request for the City of Fairhope's Junior City Council requesting the use of Founders Park on June 22nd, 2019 from 9:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. for a kickball tournament to benefit the Rotary Youth Club and the fees to be waived. So our Junior City Council is here. We discussed this a little bit in the work session, and we're not typically able to waive the fees. And so what we have discussed is that the fee would be $200 minus the fact that you are not a not-for-profit entity, so the fee would be $100. And we discussed the non-junior city council, which I think is the nicest way to describe us, to cover that for you guys. We'd be happy to do so, at least until everybody else agrees. We'd be happy to do so. And so, Marcus, we can't just approve this item because it says fees to be waived. So do we need a
Use of Founders Park is just an application, isn't it, correct? And it doesn't have to necessarily come through here. And the only thing you're being asked to do is waive the fees, is that
Right.
correct?
So we would actually vote to,
Or you take it off the table. It's hard to say you vote no against your own junior council, but you really don't want to, you could take it off or you could vote no.
well, if we don't have to vote to allow you use of the park,
Do a minute
That's just a
request,
straight
right?
application, is that right?
It's an agreement that somebody would have to sign and mark it paid.
okay, all right. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a motion to, yes, sir, please.
You could withdraw it.
You can withdraw it. Would you like to withdraw it?
I'd like to, as a representative of the Fairhope Junior City Council, I'd like to withdraw agenda item 13 from the table.
Yes, sir. And can you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Christopher Miller. I live at 212 Shady Lane.
Thank you, Christopher. Appreciate it. All right. And so number 13 has been formally withdrawn from. Good luck. Good luck with your fundraiser, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Number 14 is Elise Posh. Location coordinator with I Still Believe LLC, requesting the use of South Beach Park in Fairhope, Alabama as a filming location for production on June 24, 2019, and to reserve parking spaces for equipment trucks and necessary vehicles. The parking spaces would be marked with cones the night prior. What day of the week is June 24th?
Monday. It's a Monday because that's our next city council meeting.
Do we have anybody here on staff to discuss this? My only questions would be, do we require some kind of insurance for this? Is there some sort of procedure, some agreement that we normally enter into?
They get a filming permit.
And that's it? So we're essentially just allowing them to reserve this space during this time?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Anybody got any questions or comments about this, number 14?
Yeah, I've got some questions.
Sure.
When it says the south end of the beach, is that referring to any part of the Circle Drive that would affect the restaurant?
I don't know.
Or are they referring to this?
Yes, Kevin, according to the pictures, yeah, they would.
Well, basically, that's all they're talking about, isn't it? Is the circle.
Yes. The left side, it looks like, yeah.
It just needs to be taken into some consideration for whatever that day is that they can do it, to leave some spaces open for the restaurant. I
Yeah, this
feel.
doesn't specify how long they need it, it just says on that day.
We keep getting into problems of taking up the spaces down there, and nobody seems to remember the restaurant, and it puts them out of business.
Well, we don't, this would be easier to discuss if we knew exactly how long they expected to be there. Is it 7 to 7? Is it midnight to
I
midnight?
think you count on the entire day of that day and then the night before, but, I mean, I'm sure, it sounds like they're gonna block off with cones certain parking spaces, so they're not gonna take up the entire,
Yeah, there's a slide on there that
Area.
shows what areas are going to block off, just that southernmost, so the drive stays open and parking it along the pier doesn't get blocked.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks, I don't know.
This doesn't look too
about a
intrusive.
dozen parking spaces out of the circle.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Got a
I'll
motion.
second it.
Got a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All right, with no further discussion, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Number 15 is a request from Amy DePriest with the Fairhope Youth Club, requesting for permission to build playground equipment at 19128 Young Street, which is owned by the city of Fairhope, and requesting a letter from the city giving them explicit permission to build the playground at this site. The letter is needed to apply for a Kaboom grant, and if awarded, need to have permission to put on city property. We got an email about this last week. I don't know if all you guys were on it, but they are applying for this grant. It's pretty self-explanatory, and they need permission from the city to put playground equipment on there before they can get this grant to help pay for the playground equipment. Is that right, Lisa?
That is correct.
Okay. And so they wanted it, just an answer from me, I think, and/or Jack, but we can't give that answer just on our own, so we had to put it on the council agenda. So I'll answer any questions if you got them to the best I can. And if there are no questions, does anyone have any questions?
When they say permission to build, I'm guessing this is, they're purchasing the equipment
Correct.
and installing it. They're not
Correct.
building like wooden structures out there or something we have to worry about liability.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a motion, we approve the request.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Number 16, we have an application for beer and wine on and off premises licensed by Johnny Barranco for Coastal Sunrise Market LLC, doing business as the Fairhope Market, located at 101 South Greeno Road, Fairhope, Alabama. Lieutenant Hamrick, everything in order for this? Yes, sir. All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Item number 17 is public participation for non-agenda items. Anybody have anything else they'd like to discuss or address with the city council tonight? All right. I will close public participation, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. We are adjourned.